Calling all Jets fans! We are in celebration today for a very special occasion. I'd like to introduce you. We have not only done one good thing, but two good things in the same week. Very rare, I'm aware. Now we have a very special trophy to present to you and me for all sitting through our sufferings. I'd like to present to you the New York Jets Did Something Right trophy! We got it right here. We got the lights. We got the celebrations. Because we not only made a good coaching hire, but Woody has come back to save us from our misery that Chris put us through. So, to all you New York Jets fans out there, we're going to keep these lights on in honor of you today. And we also have the Jets trophy. Enjoy it, because I'm not sure how long this will last. Alright, anyway, everyone, I'd like to welcome you to Frontline Football in the Jets Celebration Week, as we have more news. No predictions, because we got Pro Bowl, but it's okay, because we got news to cover it. And we got 5 stories. Zach, introduce us to our stories.
All right. Well, we're going to start out with the Eagles head coach hiring. So, Josh, let's just get right into this.
The Eagles have hired former Los Angeles Chargers offensive coordinator Nick Sirianni as their new offensive coordinator for the team. So, this is coming right after. Wait, did they hire them as a head coach or
head coach?
Okay, my bad. It was the head coaching position that they hired Nick Sirianni for. So I'm gonna hand it off to Jack for his take on the matter.
I'm gonna be honest. This is the dud of the group. Not necessarily because he's a bad head coach, because I feel like he'd do just fine. But he's Frank Reich's understudy, who was Doug Peterson's understudy. You fired Doug Peterson to hire younger, less experienced Doug Peterson. So it's kind of confusing, because Doug Peterson, I get it, he struggled as of late, but he did win a Super Bowl, and you didn't really change anything, to be honest. You sort of just stayed the same. Same guy, but with less success in the NFL. So overall, I'm not really a big fan. It was kind of confusing because you want to change the tide of your team when you fire a head coach, and you kept it the exact same pretty much. Wentz is probably back. And yeah, Eagles fans, good luck. You're in for a dark future. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think this is the same thing that Philly has seen almost every single year, besides the Chip Kelly hire, which that was a terrible hire from the beginning. The thing is, they always go back to Andy Reid for some reason. They always go back to the former coach that they had whenever they had a very, very bad coach. So what happened? Andy Reid got fired. Chip Kelly came in. Chip Kelly got fired. They went to Doug Peterson, who was under Andy Reid. They just hired another Andy Reid clone, the person who they got out of Philly in the first place. And now they've hired a Doug Peterson clone. You really need to... Really need to start finding some better coaching candidates, Philly, because you keep on hiring clones of your former coaches that led you to some iffy success. And besides, I haven't heard much about this coach, so that's kind of a bit confusing. Because at least from what I've seen of the new Lions coach, which I was kind of skeptical about, at least he's going to be trying to bite people's kneecaps off during the season and punch them in the face. Yes, this is football, and this was their new head coach in this interview. At least I can see what they're trying to do there. Like, that's a huge culture change from Matt Patricia. This doesn't do anything. This isn't a culture change. This is just the same person, just a different – it's the same style, just different person. So, Zach, what are your thoughts?
I agree with – ooh, I just got pain in my side. But, yeah, I agree with both of you on those points. It's a Doug Peterson clone, and I feel like if they looked around a little bit harder, or if they just looked around a little bit more, they probably would have found someone better, maybe even Bieniemy. Maybe I would have probably taken even Josh. Is it Josh? It's not Josh McCown. Yeah, Josh McDaniels. I mean, there's a culture change at least. You need someone new in there. You can't just keep running in and expect to win a Super Bowl like that. The times have changed, and that guy is he's a part of the Doug Marrone coaching tree, and you're not going to get anything out of him. So, yeah. What?
Marone's Jacksonville, Peterson's Philly.
Oh, I meant Peterson, Doug Peterson. Yeah, I get those confused. Okay. So, you guys ready to go on to the next story?
Do it.
Dwayne Haskins, a few days ago, or a week ago, signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is really interesting. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
This is an intriguing matchup because the thing about Pittsburgh is I feel like they've produced a lot of divas in their time, specifically in the offensive skill positions. You got Le'Veon Bell and his rap shenanigans, AB, Juju and the TikTok dances, Claypool talking about how the Browns are sore winners. It just comes with a lot of strange because Dwayne Haskins, he is kind of a diva. I don't know what to call him. He's very immature, but you never know. Maybe Mike Tomlin sits long talks with him. We know he's kind of good at football. Not amazing, but if he can just control himself and truly harness his abilities with Claypool, Smith-Schuster, all those guys in the offense, then they could be sitting in an interesting position in a couple years. Big Ben's, maybe he sits behind Big Ben for a year as the backup, but overall, it's intriguing. If I was the Steelers, I would have moved to go to a guy that I personally prefer. If Sam Darnold was on the block, I'd give up picks for Sam Darnold over risking Dwayne Haskins because I feel a little more mature, a little better of a football player, but this isn't bad. They'll just have to see if the Steelers are able to sort of let him mature and become a true NFL quarterback in this league. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I don't know about this one. I mean, I agree with that. I agree with you. He is kind of a diva. I mean, in one of the games that they lost, he cared more about his stats than he did actually winning the game. And that's kind of messed up because you should be caring more about winning the game than your stats. Because at the end of the day, you play as a team, you work as a team, and the reason you get those individual accolades is because you have a good team around you, most likely, to push you to go get those accolades. So saying that you care more about the stats in a game than you actually care about winning, that kind of shows that like you have like you're very immature and you just care about yourself. And I think going to the Steelers either will make him worse and care about his stats even more, or it'll make him into a better person and he'll care about the team around him instead of his stats or individual accolades. Josh?
Okay, Steelers, out of all the options you could have chosen, you chose the imaginary option C. Why did you choose Dwayne Haskins? You had a plethora of quarterbacks. Just wait until the draft. You could have gotten Mac Jones. If you waited until free agency, you could have gotten Matthew Stafford. If you were waiting for a quarterback, heck, get Sam Darnold off of New York's hands. There were so many quarterbacks to choose, and you chose option C, a person who is immature, who's going to a toxic climate in the Pittsburgh Steelers, where you have a quarterback who throws everybody under the bus. You have wide receivers who are too busy caring about TikTok dances than actually their production on the field. And you have a terrible locker room. I mean, I can see the upside to this, but I don't see where he's going to learn how to be a mature quarterback. I was planning on him to go to a team like maybe, the Patriots for a year, be with an older quarterback, or not be thrust straight to the starter, have Hoyer start for the first couple games, and then he starts slowly getting in. But this was probably the worst option that they could have chose off this board this year, no doubt.
All right. Well, you're done with your take, right, Josh? Okay. Well, Jack, tell us about the Jets.
We got an update as the big man, the legend from across the pond has returned. Mr. Woody Johnson is coming back to take over his position as the New York Jets owner. I'll open up with my take here because of my experience with Woody as a Jets fan, and overall, I think this is good. I'm going to be honest. Chris was he didn't know what he was doing. He was trying his best, and credit where credit's due. He made the Joe Douglas hire, who's been our best GM in a decade, and he's made the Robert Saleh hire, who's looking to be the best coach we've had since Rex Ryan a decade ago as well. So Chris did kind of get it together towards the very end, but the reality is, under Chris, we've had like 4-12, 5-11, 7-9, and 2-14. I expect that Woody's back. He's done this for a little while at least. He was at least a solid owner for the last couple years that he was around. 10-6 with top bowls, which was surprising. I do expect this to change the Jets' overall outlook on building a team. I feel like Chris, he was risky in the wrong spots, where I feel like maybe Woody Johnson will roll the dice and sign one of these big-name free agents, maybe make an offseason trade for someone to fill in a roster spot like corner or even linebacker if C.J. Mosley's not back. But overall, it's intriguing. I expect the Jets to continue with their plan of building through the draft, building free agents, but expect a slight aggression to it. Expect them to take slightly more bigger risks than they would under Chris. So I think this is fun. I think it will be good to have Woody back. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think that this is a great thing to have back. I've seen wonders whenever a team's owner cares about them and knows what he's doing. Because I saw Woody Johnson whenever he did Hard Knocks 2010, and he genuinely looked like he cared about the team and knew what was up. He would spend any money to make sure that the Jets were a good team. And that's what I like to see in owners. Because even in the Texas division, my division, the AFC South, I can see Bob McNair, rest in peace. He was amazing. He cared about Houston. He cared about the city. And I see that same thing with Woody Johnson, even more than I saw with Bob McNair. They will pay anything to make sure that this is a good move. While I also saw the other side of the GM, the laissez-faire GM, in Tony Khan, who, or is that the guy's name, or is that his son?
Shad Khan is.
You keep calling them GMs. You mean owners?
Yeah, owners. And that's an owner who has way too many teams and doesn't care as much about Jacksonville and lets stuff play out. So I'm glad that Mr. Johnson's back, and I hope that the Jets will one day make the playoffs and maybe a Super Bowl. Jack or Zach, your take?
I actually think that this Jets team is really promising. Having their owner back is such a big thing. The Jets, the only thing that they can do is go up. I mean, they also can go 0-16, but I don't really see that in them because the Jets have already gone through so much that Woody Johnson would just love to, I think, make this team better. He was around for so long for them, and I think that he'll keep going and keep striving to make this team better and better so then they can one day reach the Super Bowl again and win it. So, yeah. All right. So, we're going to talk about Stafford now. Stafford is either leave the Lions in free agency or he's going to demand a trade. So, either of those are really bad for the Lions. Stafford's such a big player. And, yeah. Now I'm going to hand this one off to Josh.
I think that this is a good move on Stafford's part. He is in his 30s, so it would be good to get away from Detroit and get the money while he can and start winning maybe a playoff game, maybe a Super Bowl, because he hasn't done it in Detroit. And I do believe that the Lions, this means that they should go all in on the best available quarterback on the board in this year's draft. If Trey Lance is on the board, you take Trey Lance. If Mac Jones is on the board, you take Mac Jones. And those are the two people who I think will be on the board at the time whenever they're going to be choosing. So I'd say get a quarterback in the draft and develop him into a great quarterback like Stafford was. So I'm going to hand it off to Jack for his take.
I think this is sad because we see Stafford as a Lion for so long, but I think it had to happen because they, like the Lions, they sort of just trip in their own way. They're not like awful every year. Sometimes they are when Stafford gets hurt, but Stafford gets some 6-7 wins every year on a struggling roster, and they never seem to step forward. They're just sort of stationary. So I'll go over why it's good for Stafford first. One, it's good for Stafford is because he's tough as nails, but he struggles with injuries at times. So I feel like places that would fit for him is Indy and San Fran. We know Indy, best O-line in football. You get a strong running game, get a couple solid receivers, and you got a lot of room to expand in the draft. As for San Fran Receivers aren't as good, but you got Kittle, Trent Williams, and Mike McGlinchey, I believe his name is, are two great tackles. So you got good protection, and in both cases you're going into nice systems with strong defenses and overall places to back you up in many cases. As for Detroit, I think I agree with Josh here, and it's time to blow it up. It's time to just Matt Campbell, the kneecap eater, whatever you want to call him. He needs to just blow this team up, draft his franchise quarterback, and build a new culture around Detroit, a new era in Detroit kind of thing. Like, let some players walk, like Galladay, Marvin Jones, some of these older players on defense, Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, Desmond Trufant. It's time to blow it up, build around some young players that you think have high potential on your team, and fix this team over time. They're not going to be good next year, but if you're looking in 3 years, they could be looking at some draft capital and some money because they let some of these guys that gave them 5-6 wins each year walk. And overall, I think this is a good decision for both. Detroit needs a reset. Stafford needs a place that can truly help him and help him go on hopefully a Super Bowl run sooner than later. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I actually do like this because Stafford really deserves to actually have a chance. I actually think that he could either go Colts, like you said, Niners, or this is an interesting one. I think he actually could go to the Rams. The Rams, this is a little weird, but Jared Goff is not working. Their backup's not working. Stafford would be a plop in place, and I think he would do amazing there because that defense would hold up. Their offensive line's a little shaky, not shaky, inconsistent. So sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But the only thing I'm worried about is Rams have really bad. They're already being bad cap. So it's not the best place to go, but I think LA, San Francisco, and Indianapolis, and the Colts would be the best place to go. For the Lions, I totally agree with you. They need to just get everyone that is like older and starting to regress and they don't really see a lot of potential in them. They need to get them out so then they can just have a clean slate and just work with that instead. Because I think keeping some of your rookies, like for example Jeff Okudah, I haven't seen a lot from him this season, but he could be like one of those second-year players that needs the preseason to like look good and stuff like that. I think also keeping some other, I don't know who else they should keep, but keep some rookies. And keep some like third-year players, maybe fourth-year players if you're pushing it. But yeah, I think keeping those guys, but get rid of your old guys out of there. Just have some veteran leadership in there somewhere. All right, Josh, we're doing predictions for the awards. You start us off with your list.
So my prediction, so we're doing MVP and all that different stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So first, let's go straight to Defensive Rookie of the Year. Is it split between NFC and AFC?
No, we're just going to do NFL.
Just NFL? Okay.
Yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is so obvious that I don't even know if I have to say it. It obviously is going to be Chase Young. He was a monster this year. He was one of the only rookies in the playoffs this year. And he has made that football team defense look scary again. So, good job on his part, and I believe that he is the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, let's go to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. For this one, this was a bit harder of a decision, but I believe it is Justin Herbert. He showed great signs in his first year. Now, I would believe that Joe Burrow would have gotten it if he had torn his ACL, but Herbert was the best rookie of this year. I said at first, before Frontline Football was created, I didn't really believe in Herbert. Now I believe in him. I think he is the real deal. Once he gets a good head coach in there, and once he gets a good system around him, some good players, and he has a coach that doesn't choke leads, they're going to be probably the next Kansas City Chiefs or battling with the Chiefs for AFC West supremacy. And then next, let's go to the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I believe that this award should go to Aaron Donald, just because he's been
playing. You said Defensive Rookie of the Year. You mean Defensive Player of the Year?
Player of the Year. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Now we'll go to the Defensive Player of the Year, which I believe is Aaron Donald. He was so great this year that he should really just get the award. He was terrorizing defenses or terrorizing offenses and just making it look easy. Sorry, just bit of stuff's going through it. Either him or Jalen Ramsey's going to win the award. But I feel like Ramsey, after his performance against Green Bay, won't win it. So I believe that Aaron Donald will win this award. So next, did I say Offensive Player of the Year? Or?
Nope, you have not said your Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, or Comeback Player.
Well, Comeback Player of the Year is obviously Alex Smith. Why would I even have to say that?
Yeah, exactly.
No question, Alex Smith. And then next, I'll say that Offensive Player of the Year, I believe this year should go to, well, I guess DeAndre Hopkins. Because it's going to be a race between him and Derrick Henry. But I believe Hopkins just barely edged out Henry's voting. So give Hopkins the Offensive Player of the Year this year. And finally, we have the MVP. Not the Nickelodeon MVP. No, the actual NFL MVP.
That's Mitch Trubisky.
That's Trubisky's award. Nobody can take that from him. So, with this award, it took me a lot of deciding to do of who I would put in, who would I select as this winner. I believe that this year's winner of the 2020 MVP 2020 of the 2020-2021 season will be Aaron Rodgers. I believe that he was the better quarterback this year out of a great class by everyone, but I believe that Mahomes just didn't have what Aaron Rodgers had this year. And yes, you might be kind of conference championship, but here's the thing. With the MVP, this is the regular season MVP. The Super Bowl MVP is for that. So this is the regular season MVP. I feel like Mahomes was good, but Rodgers was just on another level this year, along with also the storyline of him trying to keep his job from Jordan Love. He really proved why he's one of the best in the NFL. So give it to Aaron Rodgers this year, and those are my predictions for awards. So I will hand it off now to Zach for his.
All right, Comeback Player of the Year is kind of obvious. Alex Smith, because he came back from a injury that could have killed him. So that's pretty good. All right, so with my Defensive Rookie of the Year, actually, I'm going to choose, because I was looking at all the stats while Josh was saying his takes, I'm going to go with Isaiah Simmons. He has the best stats, in my opinion, out of any of the rookie class for a defensive player. And you're probably thinking, Zach, you're being biased here. Of course you're going to choose Isaiah Simmons. He's on your team. No, you are wrong, viewers. I chose Isaiah Simmons because this is his stats for this season. 43 solo tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and an interception. That's very good stats. The only thing that Chase Young had over him were 2 stats, sacks and 4 forced fumbles. That's only 3 more forced fumbles than him. And Patrick Queen is not even close. It was between Isaiah Simmons and Chase Young in the beginning. And maybe Jeff Okudah was there too, but he's not even in the race anymore. Now, for my Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's kind of obvious. It's going to be Justin Herbert. He played amazing. I even thought that Justin Herbert was going to win when Joe Burrow was still playing. Justin Herbert has pushed his game from Oregon and being questionable for the NFL to he is so pro ready. I think he's more pro ready than Tua, Joe Burrow, a bunch of great players that came out of this draft. I think he's the most pro ready out of all of those guys because he actually performed really well. It's just his coach kept choking games. I bet they would have been playoffs if they had a better coach. Now, for my Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett played so well this season. He actually did work for the Browns, and I think that it really showed this season how well he can play as a pass rusher. So it's really good. It's a good redemption season too, from hitting someone in the head with a helmet. So It's very good. It sounds like a great story, and it is because he ends with the Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year, I do not believe it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is a great receiver, and he will win Offensive Player of the Year probably soon. It's actually going to be Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara played so well this season, and I think that Alvin Kamara, in my opinion, is the best running back in the league. No way that Derrick Henry takes that away from him. Alvin Kamara literally lit up teams and then just laughed at them after because he scored 6 touchdowns in the Christmas game. That is amazing. I think that tied a record. So if you don't give Alvin Kamara the Offensive Player of the Year, I don't know who you give it to. And then finally, MVP. Will it be Russell Wilson? Will it be Patrick Mahomes? Will it be Aaron Rodgers? Well, it's kind of obvious here. Russell Wilson was out probably when he lost to the Cardinals. Patrick Mahomes wasn't really in the race too long, and I don't think he really deserves another one. There are also some dark horses like Kyler Murray and Josh Allen, but they start way too late for this MVP stuff. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers played consistently. He played like every single game with the Super Bowl, and he played so well that I actually thought this guy actually seems decent at his job. So. And he wasn't decent. He balled out every single game. Like, no way you were going to beat the Packers only if your name is the Buccaneers and a few other teams. So, great job on him. All right, Jack, your turn.
So, as for my comeback player of the year, this is obvious. Alex Smith. You don't come back from that and not earn it, especially when you pretty much directly contributed to your team's playoff success. He won a couple of the very important games. As for my defensive rookie of the year, I'm going to agree with Josh, and I'm going to go with Mr. Chase Young. I think he was just the best all around, in my opinion. He did a great job getting sacks, and not to mention a very underrated run stuffer. His impact was able to influence his teammates. Offensive rookie of the year is Justin Herbert. It was close. Jefferson also had a rookie record-breaking year, but Herbert, that was amazing. If the coach didn't make some questionable decisions, they could easily be looking at 10 to 12 wins. And overall, I think that he has a bright future, and he's super talented. One of the best rookie seasons from a QB on the record. As for the defensive player of the year, I'm going to have to go with Aaron Donald, because his impact not only was in his game, but it was elevating his teammates. Like, the threat of him alone was making some of these Rams teammates, because you have to remember, didn't have a lot of money, meaning they didn't really improve. Those were the same guys, but he was doing so good. Those Rams teammates were getting one-on-one matchups, and they were getting more sacks. Jalen Ramsey was getting better coverage. Overall, he just helped his team so much. It elevated above him. But don't underestimate some of the corner play this year. Howard, Jair Alexander, and Jalen Ramsey all played out of their minds this year. Super good cornerback play this year, but not enough to beat Aaron Donald. My offensive player of the year is Alvin Kamara. This is just because I feel like the Saints' offense was Kamara. Thomas was completely quiet. Emmanuel Sanders was wishy-washy, injury-prone. Jared Cook didn't have as much impact. Like, it was all Kamara. He ran it, and he ran it to perfection. He got them 12. I believe they had 12 wins this year. 12 or 13. He did extremely well. He not only can rush, he caught the ball. He had the 6-touchdown game. He was the best offensive machine out on the field this year. And last but not least, my MVP has to be Aaron Rodgers. I understand it didn't end the way the Packers fans in the world wanted it to in many cases, but he could have easily won the conference game, but some questionable play calling at the end, some questionable penalties prevented him from getting the ball back, etc., but that's not what I'm here for. Aaron Rodgers balled out every week, week in, week out, not to mention he only has one or two good weapons, Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. This guy did it with 1 to 2 good weapons, where people in the other conversation, Allen, though it doesn't seem like it, super deep receiving core. Mahomes, do we even need to talk about Mahomes' weapons? They're super good. Aaron Rodgers did more with less this year. Not to mention when the best pass protector in the league, David Bakhtiari, went down, we thought, the Packers, they're going to be in trouble now. Nope, adjusted, played just as well, if not better without him. This guy is the clear MVP, and he deserves it.
All right, well, that does it for our video today. If you like it, then Josh, what do they do?
If you like what you see, don't forget to... That missed. Oh, wow. Well, you know this is being produced live. If you like what you saw, don't forget to punch that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell, because when you turn on that notification bell, you will be a part of the Frontline Football fan base. The Frontline Football fan base is always caught up on the latest news from the NFL season, because you watch us, and we make sure to get you your daily news every single day on Tuesdays for the next week, and they're usually posted on a Wednesday or Friday, depending on the week. And don't forget, if you like what you saw, don't forget to share this with your friends, because we love to have the more viewers, to have more people a part of the Frontline Football fan base. I know I'm starting to sound like a cult right now, but we're not. We're just a really, really fun fan base to be a part of. So, Jack, hit the plugs.
All right, as always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe, obviously. And as always, we hope you enjoy off-season Super Bowl predictions next week. We're going over. Don't think that we're falling off just because the NFL season's over. Got free agency, draft rumors, trades. It's going to be an amazing offseason. A lot of people are going to be on the move. A lot of teams are going to be changing very fast. And it's going to be fun. We're going to be here to document it all for you guys. And we'll see you guys back here next week for the final episode of Frontline Football.
Say what your favorite take is in the comments below.
Yes. And we'll see you guys back here next week.